back to the Angel Clark Show on RadioFreedom.us. We have on the line with us Survivor Jack. His website is survivorjack.com. And I really like Jack. He has fantastic information, and it's very, very useful. And in this day that we live in, as we discussed earlier, it's normal to be afraid. It's normal to be scared, but that doesn't mean that you should sit back and curl up in a corner and not do anything. And when we talk to Jack, he tells us things that we can do to be prepared for any kind of event. And I feel like his information is it's very valid. It's very useful. It's really good stuff. So if this is your first time that you've heard Survivor Jack, I want you to go to angelclark.us. There you will find over a year's worth of archives from the show, and search for there's a search bar there, right? The function. Search for Survivor Jack, and you can find every episode where he's been on the show and hear all the advice that we have heard so far. So, Survivor Jack, I would like to thank you for sticking around. It is truly appreciated, and I would like some details. We've been hearing about Fukushima, not in most news, but we've been hearing about it here on this show, and the nuclear issue in Fukushima is just it's scary. It's scary. It's not getting better. It's getting worse, and it's affecting this country. It's affecting people there. There's an increase in birth defects, an increase in cancer rates, and how do we prepare for this?
Well, we're in a situation where we can't prepare for it, in the sense that you and I, as individuals, we're learning, if you kind of read off the major media, because none of them are addressing this anymore. Fukushima is still releasing hundreds of thousands of gallons of radioactive water into the Pacific Ocean daily. And there have been traces of this radiation found as far south as the south end of South America. Mm-hmm. So we know it's come along the United States coastline. It's come across there. But so far, the radiation levels are still quite low. The problem is they can't keep pumping out millions of gallons of contaminated water, and it remained low.
Yeah.
So at this point, it's probably not yet a threat, but what do we as individuals do in situations like that?
Yeah.
And we need to start making a stink to our representatives, to the media, and say, we've got to tell the truth about this. At this point, it is probably the single largest threat to humankind on this earth. That's how bad this is.
I think there's something to what you're saying. When you consider what's happening in Fukushima, it is horrific to consider. Nuclear waste just being dumped into the ocean daily, and nothing's getting done about it.
Right. And the design of the plant, where they have been storing the material, means that the spent fuel rods, which were being stored on the second floor, which is obviously storing water on the second floor of an already damaged building, is not the brightest design. Those kind of things continue to offer the threat that if another earthquake happens, that this thing could completely come apart. And now we would be in a really, really serious situation that would be difficult to fix in a short scenario. We've got to demand that something be done now. There are dozens of major corporations in Japan who are saying we are at threat as the Japanese people.
That's a valid fear. Now that I think about it.
Right. And that's what we all got to be wary of. They sat in an earthquake-prone zone already. And there's no reason we should say, well, because it's already damaged, we just won't have another earthquake. No. It's damaged because we have a lot of earthquakes. That's not good thinking. Got to change the way we think. And that's really what Survivor Jack, in a sense, is all about, is to stop and say, hey, look, take a look at the reality of what we're dealing with.
Yeah.
We need people who are expert of experts, and humankind may have to throw a lot of money at this to see if we can solve this horrific problem.
How can the average person prep for some kind of nuclear event? Like, if I lived in California, is there something I should have stocked or something that I should be taking?
Well, we hear a lot about, for example, iodine when we get into these situations. Oh, there's radiation spreading in the air. The difficulty is that iodine does protect the thyroid, which is susceptible to radiation, but it only covers one type of radiation. Unless you've got some sort of way to insulate yourself from that radioactive material. And the difficulty I've seen on the Doomsday Prepper show, which I was on, people running around in these hazmat suits, and yeah, they're great protection against radiation. But where are they going to go to, and how are they going to go to the bathroom, and how are they going to eat and fix meals and stuff living in those suits?
Right? That's a fantastic point.
It's a difficult decision. You've got to stop at some point and say, if that happened, am I going to make this? And do I want to make this? What kind of world would I walk out of? Even if I hid in my bunker for 3 months, I'm not just going to pop out and go to the 7-Eleven and stop and have a Slurpee and go to the movie. That's not the world you're going to come back to if it's that devastating.
That covers it. Survivor Jack, survivorjack.com. I want to thank you so much for joining me this evening. I really appreciate it. And we look forward to the next time that we talk to you. And everyone, make sure you get out there and get active. Start contacting your representatives. Start contacting people. Let them know that something has to happen here. We can't just sit back.
Class isn't over. It's just begun.
It's the Angel Clark Show.